Hi everyone! Today I wanted to do a video on the books that made me love reading. Reading is such a big part of my life that I started thinking, what were the books that made me start loving reading and what books continue to make me love reading. So I wanted to share those. So the first books are the American Girl books. Uh, my mom read so many to us, um, to me, when I was growing up. And what she would do is leave off at a part that I wanted to know what was happening, and from there she'd be like, well, you can read the rest of the story if you want. So I would pick up the book just to find out what was happening. The American Girl books, they follow different girls from different time periods. So I think there's a girl from like Samantha is from like 1900. There's Molly from the 1944. There's Kristen from the 1800s. Felicity from the Revolutionary War, and they set them during these different time periods, and it was just so fascinating to me. So not only do they have like very good stories, um, but they also introduce kids and me to the lingo of those time periods. Um, I remember reading one of the Samantha books, and she had to go inside because she had to stitch her sampler. Um, I didn't know what a sampler was, so there's like little drawings, and they show it's when you sew something really pretty. And then during the 40s, there'll be some words about the war or something. Oh, what was that? And then they'd explain it to you. The back of each, so the illustrations are really nice. Um, there's this is one of my favorite ones from Felicity. She loves horses. So the book has illustrations like that, and in the back of each book there is a peek into the past. So you get to see like actual paintings or the actual things that they mention in the book. So that was really nice. Um, here's some from Molly. Some of the illustrations there. So very, very, very pretty illustrations. One of my biggest regrets is that I actually sold all my American Girl collection. I had like almost all of them, and then I sold them for I think only $20 when I like years and years ago. So I really regret doing that because I had to get these from the library. So the next books that I want to talk about, very special to me. Again, the Narnia books. My mom read the whole series, and then I had to go and read them several times. Just magical stories that just suck you in. And I think I've read these so much that the characters were like, I knew the characters. The last book, The Last Battle, is actually still very emotionally hard for me to read because it's like a culmination of what has happened, and you see characters from the first couple books that you haven't seen in a while. There's 7 books. My favorites are The Magician's Nephew, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy. Those are my top 3 favorites of the series. But again, so if you haven't heard of the Narnia books, it's a fantasy series about this magical land where the ruler of it, who's Aslan, brings people from our world into this magical world. Um, so there's some of the kids, and they have to fight against evil, and there's just these are still some of my top favorite books. I remember very vividly when my mom was reading the last book, The Last Battle. I remember crying because of things that happened to some of the characters. And it was a couple days, like she had to stop reading, and it was a couple days before she could go on and finish the book, because she's like, okay, we spent all this time reading this book, we have to finish the series. But yeah, very emotionally hard, still very emotionally hard. I was the type of child who I literally went into my closet just to be sure that Narnia wasn't there. So that's how much I love those books. The next books are the Nancy Drew books. So these books spurned my love of mystery. There are so many in the original Nancy Drew books, so these yellow ones, that I remember going to the library every week and seeing if there was people had returned the Nancy Drew that I hadn't read. It's about a girl who does mysteries, who figures out mysteries with her friends, and there's just adventure and fun. And because of these books, it kind of spurred on my love of mysteries. So I think that's one of the reasons why I love like Agatha Christie mysteries and things like that. I cannot have this video and not mention the Harry Potter books. It's a series of 7 books. I read them fairly fast, and I think the thing that sucked me into these books was the writing and the stories. So not only is the writing really well done, and the story of Harry Potter and Ron and Hermione, and them fighting against he who shall not be named, and what happens at the school, and there's just a lot of things that people and kids now can relate to, like when they get upset at each other, or the tough times they have in classes, or friendship and cliques and things like that. So, like I said, I think the Harry Potter book that I enjoyed the most was the last one, just because it was a very good, just the characters and the epilogue were just so fantastic. I actually had to read the last book several times because it was so good. So these were some of the ones that spurred on my love of reading. Another one that spurred on my love of reading, because of the American Girl books, and it gave me a love of history, was The Children of King Henry VIII by Alison Weir. So she's written several other history books, and this one was very well. I actually got my mom to read it also, and it follows. It starts right when King Henry dies, and it starts with Edward's reign, and then Mary's reign. It talks about Lady Jane Grey's reign, and then the beginning of Elizabeth's reign. The way she writes history is like a story, so I think that's why it pulled me in. And her books are very, very well done. So if anyone's looking for history books, these are very good. And the last books that I want to talk about, this author has had such a big impact on me. Jane Austen. So Emma, Pride and Prejudice are some of my favorite ones. I actually started reading a Jane Austen because I was sick one day, and my dad went to go get some movies, and he got Emma. And I watched the movie, and I was like, oh, I really like this. I want to read the book. So I went and got Emma, then I read Pride and Prejudice. I found out that she had written several other stories, and I think within the space of a few weeks, I finished them all. The writing, they're just so humorous, and the love stories between everybody in her books are so great that these just had to have a place on my list of books that spurred on my love of reading. So let me know which books that have spurred on your love of reading down in the comments below. I hope you liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and you can catch some other videos. See you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.